Hi everyone and welcome to my place, Valentine's Day. What do you do with the beautiful roses after they have lost their luster and their beauty and they're almost blown and they're ready to have something else done to them? Well, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to turn these beautiful roses into these most divine beads that are made out of the rose petals. My mother taught me how to make these many years ago. I absolutely love them. I think I made these when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and they are just gorgeous. And the beautiful thing about them is that when you wear them close to the skin, the gorgeous fragrance from your roses will actually be brought out from with the warmth in your body. They're easy to make, and they're lovely little treasure to keep forever and ever. Really easy to make them. Let me just demonstrate. I've got my hot plate here, which I'm just going to turn on, and I'll put those roses to one side, and I'll get my pot. So you need a big pot, and you also need, for the amount that we're going to make today, I'm using 4 cups of rose petals. Now, if you find that you've got roses in your garden and they're highly fragrant and you think to yourself, oh, I should just really deadhead those, and then you just throw them into the compost, keep them as I've done here, and I just put them into the deep freeze, and then when I've got a whole heap, I just get all those roses out and I just do what I'm going to do now. So that is 4 cups of rose petals into there. And by the way, the best time to pick these is first thing in the morning or last thing at night. Now, there was a little bit of moisture in there that has come through from being in the freezer, so don't worry about that. Over the top of that, now push those down, and then you just want to put a little bit of water. Mum's recipe calls for all of the roses to be the petals to be just covered. Well, I put a little bit less than that into there. Right, that goes onto there, and I might as well put that one in as well. Right, oops, silly me, I forgot. You also need a rusty nail. Now, the rust from the nail will actually make the beads go black. You also need about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of gum arabic. Now, you can get this from the chemist or your drugstore. It lasts for ages, and it also acts as a fixative so that the fragrances that stay in there. Right, from there, the next thing you need to do is to just slowly bring that to the simmer. And on the first day, because this is going to be a 5-day process, on the first day, you just bring it to the simmer for an hour and stir it occasionally and just leave it. Now, the next day, bring it back to the simmer for half an hour and do that every day for 5 days. Once you get to that stage, this is what you're left with, and I call it rose petal clay, and I'll just pull that out of there. Look at that. Who would have imagined that from the rose? Can you believe that? From that to that, it's fantastic. Now, if after the 5th day, you're finding that there's still just a little bit too much moisture in there, what I do is I just get a nice little piece of lawn or a bit of muslin or whatever you've got, keep that folded in half, put that into there, and then just roll that into a ball and squeeze all that moisture out. So you will see that there's quite a bit of moisture still in that. Look at that. So you need to get rid of as much of that moisture as you can. And the drier it is, the better it is, but not too dry that it's crumbly, because if it's crumbly, it's not going to work. Okay, oh dear. Oopsie daisy. Let me just wipe that off my hands like so. Now I better get a bit of a cloth so that we don't make a mess. Okay, from there, I'll just let that come to the simmer because I am going to use these. Right, there we have it. Look at that. Fantastic, exactly what I wanted. Now from there, the next thing is determining the size of the beads that you want to make. I like the smaller beads, but look, you might want to make something a little bit bigger. Now when you're rolling it, if it starts to just crumple like that, don't worry about that. Just put a little bit of just quietly blend those into, or form those into the little balls the size that you want. I'll just put that there. Or you might even like to have nice little long ones like so. Right, once you get to there, the next thing to do is, I know I've got a needle here somewhere because I got it out. Oh my goodness, I'm not very professional today, am I? It should be here somewhere, and I don't know. Here it is. Oh, for goodness sake, not looking hard enough. Right, once you've formed those into little balls, just put and use a needle and gently just push that right through to the other side, gently so that you don't break them. And at this stage they are quite fragile. Okay, so once that's done like that, just pull that out, and then what I do is I just get a plate, a nice flat plate, and into that I put a handy towel or absorbent paper, and then just put all of your little beads on, line them all up. Now, the point to also remember is that these they will shrink as the moisture comes out of them. If you want to enhance the smell of the rose, if your roses don't have that much of a fragrance, you can put some rose oil in, but I like to leave that until they are completely dry. Now, these will take, it'll depend, I usually put mine in the airing cupboard or the hot water cupboard. If you've got a nice sunny windowsill, you could put them there or in the hot sun, and they will just slowly dry out. You don't need to put them into the oven, and it will depend on the size as to how long or how wet your paste was or your rose clay was, as to how long that they are going to take before they're actually dried out. Now, I'll just clear all of the decks, and I'll be back in a moment with my beads, and I'll show you the things that you can do with them. Simmering away nicely, and that should be ready within a week, just depending on how much moisture is in the roses. Right, let's put that to one side, and let's look at the construction and stringing these up. So it'll depend on the moisture and how dry it is at your place as to how long the beads will take to thoroughly dry out. Then what I like to do when they're completely dry is to get a little bit of rose oil on my hands, and then I just rub that all over the beads, and this will actually help to make them go a little bit harder as well. So make sure that that's well and truly rubbed into there. Right, once you get to there, it's just a matter of stringing them up. So I've got some lovely little wee duty beads here, and I've got these little beads here, which I'm going to use as a spacer. Now you can either sew them or thread them up with some linen thread, which is really strong and doesn't break down. But what I have discovered is that it actually will perish in time. You could use some leather if you had like fine leather, but don't forget that whatever you're going to thread them up with, make sure that the hole that you initially made was big enough. And the other thing that I discovered is as they dry off, that hole will get a bit smaller. And I like to use this stuff here, which is fishing line. And it's just, well, you know how to thread beads up, but I do like them with a little space between them, so either or whatever you wanted to use. And also it just gives them, with that little bit of space, you could knot them as well, but I just find that the wee spacer bead is all that you need. And as you wear them, the lovely thing is that the fragrance will come out with the warmth of your skin. Now, to present these, this is what I thought could be quite nice. I've just got a little heart-shaped box here, and I've got a nice, an artificial rose, which I'm just going to pull to pieces. I'm going to put that into there like that, and then I've got my lovely rose beads, which I'm going to put into there, and I've got a lovely little rose that I've made, which I'll put on there like that, put the lid on, and there you have something nice to give away for Valentine's Day. And for you blokes out there, maybe you might like to make these for your sweetheart. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you another day.